Okay, is this thing working? Okay, good. So, what I want to do. I noticed I did not put in an eye rig. Okay, and do I have eyes? My eyes don't seem to be doing much. Just hold on a second. A quick checkola. Okay, that's good. And I'll just, let's throw on a, actually I'll do it on both these at the same time. So you can see this. We're just going to do quick eyeballs. Nothing super special. I'll just put on a Fong because that gives it that nice kind of plastic look. And whoop, something like this. Go over here. And I'm going to pop on a ramp texture. Okay, 2D texture ramp. And can I see anything? Whoop. Okay, so I went the wrong way. Something like this. And I'll just go and I'll turn on my wireframe. Okay, so good enough. I'll spend some time later making a really good eye texture, but for now this is going to do. What I want to do is I want to make two controls. Okay, we'll do simple and we'll do a little bit more complicated. Okay, if I go in here to curve tools, I hit the CV curve tool and I'll draw out some kind of shape and something I'm going to call the eye interest. Okay. I don't know what that looks like, but yeah, there you go. Okay, something eye interest. And let's go back here to the channel box, and I'm going to give that a name. We'll call it eye interest. Okay, I'm just going to center the pivot. Make sure the pivot points in the center. Okay, cool. I could scale it down if it's too big and whatever. And I'll just freeze that out. Okay, and then I want to make control for above the head here. And let's just hold down X as I'm doing this. And I won't do anything super fancy, but... Okay, 1, 2, 3. I put in 3 points there so I can get something kind of a bit smoother when I do this. And actually, if I go back here, no, backspace, undo that, and I'll just hold down X a couple of times again. 1, 2, 3. Then I go here, and then maybe I could start to draw some other interior shape like this. I could do this a few different ways. I could put another shape on here if I wanted to, but let's center the pivot on that. Again, I'm trying to keep things simple, just drawing kind of goofy shapes that easily represent what I want. And let's go freeze the transformations. And I'm going to call this one I underscore control. Okay, so now what we got. If I grab the eye interest and I grab the eyeball, and I go over here to constrain, there is a thing called aim constraint. And here, I'm just going to set it to default settings. Okay, great. Now the default settings is the important part is the aim vector. And this means that my eye is going to point down the x-axis currently. It's 1 here and 0 there and 0 there. 0 and y, 0 and z. I'm going to take that and make it 0 and x. And I'm going to make it, because I want it to point down the z-axis, I want that one to be 1. Okay, and I'll hit apply. Boop. And what did I do to the eyeball? Oh, I did something stupid. I bound these. Okay, so I was smoking crack earlier and I bound them. I'm just going to delete the history. Alt-Shift-D is the hotkey to delete history. Okay, and let's try that again. So I grab the eye interest and I grab the eyeball and I hit apply. And I'll do it again on this eye too. Should work exactly the same. By the way, if this doesn't work, typically what I've noticed students do is they put their pivot point is somehow down at the bottom of the screen. I don't know. Sometimes they combine the eyes together and then break them apart and the pivot point stays down at the bottom. Okay, we'll just check it out. Does it work? Whoop, whoop. I move it around, the eyes follow it. Okay, great. Then the next thing, the eyes want to stare at this thing. Okay, great. But I always find this control is kind of annoying because you have to move it out back and forth to kind of get this focus so the eyes kind of stare in front of the face. So what I do is I group it, and let's take that group, and I'm just going to move the pivot point. If I hold down D, and I'll put it up here, and let's try and get that right between the eyes. If I go right to the right view and I go into wireframe, and I hold down D and V. I can lock it to the middle here. Close enough, good enough, something like that, right between the eyes. So if you take a look, the pivot point is right between the eyes. Now what this means, here I'll hit 5 again, or 6 rather, and that means that if I take this pivot point here and I rotate it, the eyes will look at this thing. Okay, cool. And I'm going to call this eye interest underscore GURP. And I've got a slight cold right now, so I'm a little bit stuffy. Just in case I seem to feel stuffy when I'm talking. What else do you need to know? Okay, so now I've got that group, got the aim constraints done. I'm going to go in and I'm going to select the eye control. Now I've got the eye control and the eye group selected. If you go up here to object, I have the eye control selected last. You can see it's highlighted in green here. I want to switch that around so the eye interest group is selected last. And I'm going to go to constrain and I'm going to put on orient constraint. And now when I grab this control, it's going to rotate that group that's between the eyes and I can control where this thing is looking. Yay! Okay, I'll just undo that. And then what I'm going to do is I would like, one more thing. Like this, the great thing about this is that I don't have to zoom out when I'm controlling the eyes. Okay, I can use it from here. So I could use either one however I want. The other thing I want to do, though, is I'm going to go and take this eye control, and I'm going to go here to modify, and I'm going to go to add attribute, and I'm going to put on focus. Focus. Okay, minimum. Actually, I don't care what the minimum is. Default 0, great. Okay, focus is there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here to Window, and I'm going to go to General Editors and Connection Editor. And I know really what I want to do with this thing is just move it back and forth along the Z-axis. So I'm going to load that in. So the eye interest is on the right side, and the eye control is on the left. And there's focus. And then if I go and I find the translate, so the translate Z, and they're connected. So I can close that. Actually, you can't see that. Okay, there we go. Okay, and I'll just check. And if I do this, I check out the focus. Whoop. Okay, so I can control the focus of this right here. And actually, where's the pivot point on this thing? I guess the pivot point's a bit low. I can make that a bit higher. I could move this up or something like that, so the eyes are kind of staring forward a bit more. And I could probably get that out there. Anyway, let's go back to this. I'll just zero that out. So there's your eye control. And I think I got to make one more video after this where I put everything all together. And by the way, I redid the feet and the arm on the other side. There's something I'm skipping on the arm because I don't want to explain orienting all the joints after you've bound your character, so I'm going to leave that out for now. And I'll stop here.